Köse neredesin? Şırdan'a bak, ejderha şırdanı. Allah Allah, Allah Allah. Baban şırdancı mı? He lan, babam da şırdancı.
Today we're in the amazing city of Istanbul, Turkey.
We are here to eat and we can't wait to share this Istanbul series with you. It's all about finding the best food the city has to offer. Istanbul's food culture is reflective of its diverse past and draws influence from each region of Turkey. This is our 4th video from Istanbul and we're travelling all over the city to bring you the best local food. We eat the most unusual Turkish street food you've ever seen, a gigantic kebab feast and loads more. In this 4-part series, we're hunting down Istanbul's best food, from unusual Turkish street food to local favourites. You don't want to miss this series. Get ready for some mouth-watering food.
I'm Thomas.
And I'm Sheena, and we're chasing a plate.
We hope you're hungry. Let's eat.
We're really excited about this video because we get to show you around the neighbourhood of Kadikoy, which is on the Asian side of Istanbul, where we've been staying for the past 2.5 months. Now this area has a great local feel about it. It's quite residential, but there are some great cafes, so lots and lots of bars and shops, but it also has tons and tons of really traditional and local restaurants and little shops. It's just got a really great feel about it. We love it. Now our first stop is for kahvaltı, or Turkish breakfast. Now in our last Istanbul series we did the whole shebang. We ate a really full-on Turkish breakfast. It was amazing. We'll put the link up there. But this time we're going a little bit off-piste. We're going to eat something called muhlama, which is from the Black Sea, and it is a type of cheese fondue.
This is like fondue on steroids. There is a ton of butter that goes in and then a ton of cheese. This guy is an absolute expert. I love breakfast time in Turkey because it's a particularly social meal. It's sharing style, so you've got a few different platters on the table and you just pick away and share all the food on the table. And okay, we have got a full-on spread here. This is the muhlama, so the cheese fondue. So it's made up of cheese, butter and cornmeal. Really, really simple ingredients, but just look at that ooze and check out that layer of oil on the top from the butter and from the cheese. Thomas was just showing me the footage that he took when he was in the kitchen, and the amount of butter that went into the pan. It was like this big, this thick, insane. Now in case we're not cheesed out, we've got a platter with more cheese. So we've got a beyaz peynir, which is a hard white cheese, some yellow cheese here, it's another hard cheese, and then some soft white cheese. We've got some olives, some cucumber, and then some tomato. And then to wash it all down, of course, a cup of chai. Chai is the thing to drink when you're in Turkey. The Turks love their chai. They're drinking it all day, morning, noon and night. I've got to get into this muhlama. So we've got a basket of bread here. So I'm just gonna, I think, try and scoop some onto that bread. Look at that! Holy moly! That is so cheesy. Alright, let's try and get this in one bite. Impossible. Oh my goodness. If you love cheese, you need to come to Istanbul and you need to eat this dish. It is phenomenal. It's actually got a really subtle flavour. It's not overpowering, so the cheese, quite subtle, still has obviously a great flavour about it, but it's not too rich. Although that was the first mouthful, so it's probably going to be pretty intense by the time we finish it. Oh man, it's like the most beautiful cheese sandwich. The texture of it is so insane. It's very, very soft and gooey. It sort of just melts in your mouth. I'm really glad that we've got the tomato, the olives and the cucumber because they're very fresh and vibrant and they cut through the richness of the muhlama. It's really, really cheesy and intense, but it's so good. We can't stop eating it. And then out of the three cheeses here, this has got to be my favorite. It's very sharp and it's got a really pungent flavor. You only need tiny bits of it at a time. Istanbul food series, we want to show you some unique and more unusual Turkish food, so foods that you might not have seen before.
This next dish we're going to have is called Şırdan, and it is one of the more unique looking dishes I have ever seen. So I'm not going to tell you what it is, I'm going to show you some shots, see if you can figure out what it is. So this is the Şırdan. It is definitely one of the most unique street foods I've ever seen. Such an interesting looking thing.
This is Şırdan Eso. So the founder, Esho.
Adanalıyız.
Oh, because you're from Adana, obviously, because Şırdan is from
Adanalıyız.
Adana.
Allah'ın adamıyız.
And so this is him right there. This is his shop.
Yerimiz Hacı Badem 4 yol ışıklar. Onu da söyle canım benim, tamam. Löngür löngür abi. Köse neredensin? Şırdan'a bak. Ejderha Şırdan'ı.
Now these are the Şırdan, so they're an incredibly strange looking street food. So I know what I think it looks like, but I'll let you make of it what you will. But what this actually is intestine. So it's a sheep's intestine, and what they do is they stuff it, and that's why it's all bulbous looking. So they stuff it with rice and other things, and then it's boiled or cooked very slowly in a broth. Then once it's served, they've covered it in some salt, some chili flakes, and a whole lot of ground cumin. So really nice and basic the way they've served it. Now, I don't know which end to go with first. I mean, let's go with the little end first. Oh, yum! You get a massive hit of that cumin, obviously, because that's a strong flavour, and there's a lot of cumin over there. But then the intestine is really well cooked. Intestine can be tough if it gets overcooked. It's really not. But it's stuffed with a beautiful rice mixture. So it's a spiced rice mixture. So you can see a really neat colour in that rice. I want to rip into this white a bit so we can get a good look inside. Oh, look at that. So there you go. You can see all the rice really clearly now. And so how they do this is they tie it all together. So when they served it, they pulled a string out for us. So that's what holds it all together in this pretty unusual shape. And look at that rice. So you can see little bits of tomato in there and stuff. So it's full of a few different ingredients. Really good. A very simple flavour. So the chili flakes are not too spicy. The cumin's very strong. Really nicely salted. The intestine is really well cooked. It's got a little bit of an awfully taste. So after your mouthfuls you've swallowed and you've let it sit for a little while, you get a good little offly taste, quite strong but nice. And I like that this is a legitimate street food. I mean, we're literally sitting on the road. There's a bus right there. And it's really good. Now, you might notice that I'm dressed differently and I have a different haircut to when we started this piece and introduced what we were doing next. That's because this is a late night food. So it's known as like a drinking food and always a late night food. So last time we came, it was actually a little bit early in the day by about an hour. So they didn't have it, so we're filming this a few days later. So that's why I look different. So if you want this one, you've got to come late afternoon or right into the nighttime.
Now, it wouldn't be a Turkish food video if we didn't eat kebab, so we offer a kebab feast.
This is a type of meal that is really good to share with people. Ha! Oh, we found friends perfectly. These are Josh and Ashley from The Way Away, our YouTubing friends, so they're going to join us for this feast.
Let's see.
Now, we've had a couple of months here in Turkey, so we've had a lot of time to research about what food we want to put into these videos. This place really stood out. We've actually eaten here, I think, 3 times since we arrived because it is so good. So we really can't wait to show you guys this insane meat feast.
Take this one and Naim Jumali. My name is Hasan. His name Jumali. He's big usta. How is big? Hasan abi.
So there's a serious pit of charcoal here to cook, and this is all the meat that's going with our giant platter.
Yeah. It's good. Evet canım. Bekle lan. Nasıl abi sen? Çek olsa. Doy.
Okay, check it out.
Our meal looks so good. We have just ordered 3 cups of ayran. Now, ayran is like Turkey's national drink. It is so delicious. It's a runny water and yogurt salty drink. And restaurants will sometimes have this machine which keeps the ayran churning, so it creates this beautiful foamy delicious texture. So this is the fresh ayran and you've got to order it if you see it. It's so good.
Holy moly, our kebab platter has arrived and it is humongous. Let me talk you through what we've got. So in the middle here we've got some shish kebab that are pieces of lamb which have been put on a skewer and then grilled. Then we've got some tavuk kanat which are grilled chicken wings. Then we've got these minced kebabs along the side here and they are Adana and urfa, so minced lamb. We've got a bunch of different salads. We've got some blistered peppers and then some stacks of lavash, which are flatbread. Alright, I've loaded up my plate, but I just want to rewind and talk about what a kebab actually is if you don't know already. So a kebab is just a general term for any type of meat which is fashioned onto a skewer and then cooked over the grill, and usually over charcoal. So we've got all types of different kebab here on this platter, and I love this style of eating in Turkey. It's very convivial, you often share food, and so it's just a really fun way to eat. So enough talking though, let's get into this food. So I've popped onto my flatbread some onions, and they've got a ton of sumac over the top. Sumac is the spice here. It's actually the dried, crushed up berry from the sumac bush, and it tastes a little bit like lemon, and it also adds a great hit of colour to food.
I've got parsley, I've got tomatoes, and then I think I'm going to put some of this Adana kebab in here as well. So Adana is just minced lamb and it's spicy, so it's got some chili flakes in there. Alright, let's give this thing a taste.
Önce bir ekmeği zaten yağa basıyor. İçindeki küçük küçük parçaları sadece bence yağı veriyor buna.
Oh man, that Adana is so smoky. It's minced lamb, but it's minced quite rough and it's loosely packed, so it's quite light. There's a really great mix of fat and lean meat in there, and it's spicy, so it's got a great hit of chili. I love the fresh vegetables. They add a lot of tanginess, especially those onions, and then the tomatoes are really sweet. If you've watched our videos before, you'll know that I am a massive chicken wing fiend, and so we have basically eaten, well, I have eaten my weight in chicken wings since we've been in Istanbul. I love the way that they do them here. So chicken wing, it's got a beautiful crispy char on the top where it's been over that charcoal, and then it's just got a bit of chili over it.
Mesela drone uçarken kesinlikle yemeyin.
It's very good. It isn't heavily marinated, so you can really just taste the chicken flavour. It's got a great smokiness and the meat is super tender. Now, to go with our kebab feast, we got a plate of pickles. So if you've seen our first Istanbul video, we take you to a pickle shop. So pickles are very, very common in Turkey. Some gherkins, cabbage, some chilies, and some carrots. And then an esme, which is the type of salad. So it's got pomegranate molasses on the top, there's some tomatoes, parsley, and chili, and it's a great accompaniment to the meat. Pickles are especially good because they cut through the richness of the meat.
We are slowly making our way through the huge tray of food. I'm so glad that we've got friends to help us with this one because it is a serious plate of food. But like Sheena said, it is the best way to have a meal like this. When you have more people, you can get a bigger size. You can order these in a personal size, but definitely having friends to enjoy it with you, it's the best way to go about it. It's a video. What a meal, and a huge thank you to Ashley and Josh from The Way Away. Go check out their channel. It's going to be down in the description and we'll chuck it up on the screen. They were a very big help with eating that absolute feast.
It was delicious. With this Istanbul